Hello and welcome back to the TimTom podcast. I am Tim and I'm joined here by the ever graceful.
Hello, it's Tom.
There we go. And this week, in order to hype ourselves up for the upcoming Earl Sweatshirt album after his extended hiatus for the past 3 years, we have worked our way through the entire Earl Sweatshirt discography from Earl. Well, it's only two albums and one mixtape. It's not that big, but that's what we're going to be reviewing today. Okay.
And I
So
actually randomly listened to the first two albums like last week without this even being in the pipeline.
I was listening to Earl last week as well without it being in the pipeline, and
There we go.
yeah, I've I've really come to. We'll get into it later, but I really respect him as an artist. I really do like him. Okay, so the running order will be the chronological running order, so you can all follow at home. All right. So to begin,
The
Tom.
first project from Thebe. Oh, sorry, I cannot pronounce that surname. Gos
it.
Gostitile? Gostistile?
I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
Son of Keropeste Costastyle, who was a South African activist and poet, so he had a bit of pressure on him as he did rap in Doris. But anyway, first came to prominence with the famed California rap crew Odd
Odd
Future.
Future.
And then when I
There
was
was,
listening to Earl this morning, I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is so Odd Future.
mm. And so, uh, yeah, this is the 2010 Earl mixtape we're going to be reviewing right now, and it is. I mean, it came out 2010. That's it's I guess it's at the height of Odd Future, or that's 2010, 2011 time. And
Yeah.
it yeah, it's got Odd Future written all over it. It's unmistakably from them. That's clear from the offset. I mean,
Uh,
not just with Tyler rapping, but like I think the whole attitude and um uh, ambience of the album. It is this immature kind of uh, tongue-in-cheek artistic endeavor, and it's obvious that it's been made, it's amateurish, and but it's still good. It's just unmistakably Odd Future. That's what I'd say, and that's
uh,
it's clear from the offset with a. I mean, I'd rather skip over this Nibber Ugly because I don't really think it contributes that much. I mean, it just sets up the title track, Earl.
and it's quite rude as well
Yeah, exactly.
to poor Thebe.
I
But I
think
was
it's it.
gonna say the most odd feature thing about this whole thing is that Tyler Creator's two features on here, and neither of them are down as Tyler the Creator. He's either
Sorry.
Wolf Haley or Ace the Creator, because he used to go by so many different names
Yeah.
in the Odd Feature heyday. Also, feature from Hodgy Beats on here. I think nowadays there's absolutely no chance of that happening.
This album
Any album.
from them, yeah. I was gonna come on to that with I guess one of the big songs, Epar. Um, but yeah,
Oh,
I just think like it's such an edgy project. It really wouldn't fly now if it were to have come out with the current political climate. But
it's quite
let's begin.
nostalgic, even though it's
Yeah,
like
it was a pretty nostalgic chick. I remember listening to this and like uh I guess it was only like 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, I was in the Odd Future. I worked backwards from the albums, but it's it's still a bit of a nostalgia trip, and I'm able to appreciate it more now, seeing how he has developed and is developing. It's a this project has promise. That's what I'd say. It shows that
Definitely.
yeah, when I started, he had somewhere to go, and it's a great start leaping off point. And if you haven't listened to it, I'd highly recommend it. Okay,
It's like
so
24 minutes long, so you won't lose that much of your life.
yeah, some highlights for me are Earl. The
Yeah.
song I listened to this song on repeat. It was a that like bouncy beat with that really heavy bass. It's a complete earworm. It gets in your head and it just sticks in there. And
Probably the best produced track for me.
yeah, definitely. And it has one thing I noticed is as soon as Earl starts going, he has this great wordplay. And what I think Earl Sweatshirt's main strength is his rhymes. Um, he can have some funny, yeah, he can have some funny wordplay now and then, but it's really the rhyming structures he uses. He always hits them in this perfect way, and he really builds up a momentum, and it's present here from the offset. Um, and I guess with this being early Odd Future, it's sort of to be expected that there's going to be allusions to rape, references to scat porn, among other angsty things like that, and
Lots of
it
kidnapping as well.
lots of kidnapping. It's it's like bastard and goblin. It's like it's all edgy, and but it's done in this tongue in cheek way. It's still like it's fun to listen to every now and then, and it's there's some pretty funny lines which are like kind of gross, like someone like where's yeah where our ass go in my room like redefining black holes like Jesus, and then references to a ruptured vagina. It's pretty brutal, the lyrics, but like it's done in this tongue-in-cheek way where Earl is showing that he can rap throughout the whole album, but this is his way of I guess getting onto Tyler's level, uh, as well with sort of how distasteful he can rap every now and then, or distasteful things he can rap about.
Hmm.
And then
Very much from the Slim Shady and MF Doom lyric mold, isn't it?
hmm, yeah, I'd say there's a real similarity between Earl and MF Doom
I
with
think we'll
the
get more onto that with his progression, but carry on.
mhm. I mean it's followed up by Couch, which as far as I remember is just this typical OG of Future. Um, and I mean, there's more of this odd future flavor throughout. Like in Kill, one of the lyrics is like "faggots wear Prada," and this is from the like I mean Tyler was is still banned from the UK, I believe,
Yeah.
for homophobic lyrics, despite now being gay. So it's pretty interesting how I guess you could infer that those um there was his insecurities regarding his sexuality in it throughout. So it's
Well, I
like,
suppose you could be a homophobic homosexual.
yeah, I guess you wish could be. Then
Anyway, this is not the place for that conversation.
yeah. So Kill has this really relentless beat to it, and I thought that's pretty cool. But really the next big song, I mean, and there's a funny lyric in "Wake Up Faggot" where Earl says, "I'm attracted to you like teeny boppers to Apple stores." Oh, funny. And then the next like I think one of the main songs on this is gonna be Ipar. It's a big talking point. It's
It's a
the
story
first.
track.
Sorry,
It's a story track.
story track.
Yeah. And Vince talking about kidnapping two girls, two fans, and then the police try to pull them over.
Yeah, yeah. It is a story track. It's the first of the Vince Staples features. On every album, there's at least one Vince Staples feature.
Not on this one. Some rap songs though.
Ah, what the hell? I noticed that as I was listening to these three, and I really liked it. Because whenever Vince comes on, he delivers this really disturbing verse. Ugh.
Well, it's not on the track list I've seen anyway, but maybe he'll be there.
There's so Ibar is yeah, it's a story track about um kidnapping two girls to do horrific things to them, presumably, and then he gets stopped by the cops, and so he kills the cop and puts him in the back too. But it's this really, I'd say now it's not a serious track. Like it's a tongue in cheek track, deliberately offensive, deliberately
Trying to be as edgy as possible.
yeah, inflammatory to the point of absurdity, and it has this. I think it actually has a pretty good beat behind it. It's one of the better produced tracks on this, and
You must say most of the production was handled by Tyler the Creator, but this one was done by Left Brain,
right, because it does sound
another
different,
Odd Future affiliate.
and it's there's a one thing I like. There's a I think Vince Staples says it. It's like after he's killed the police officer, he says, "I threw him in the back and dip." um,
And I like how the
it has,
hook progresses with the verses. Like originally, there's two girls in the back, then they become gagged up in the back. Then
mm,
then the hook, two gagged up girls in the back and a dead cop in the boot at the end. But it still
yeah,
flows the same. It's quite clever. Those are probably my main highlights. Couch, EPR, and I like Pigeons a lot as well. But
I like pigeons too, as well because and there's that little hook in there, kill people, burn shit, fuck school, which is that was like an off future slogan, wasn't it?
well, Tyler did a similar hook
I
on
think it was the same one.
Radicals.
It's the same one on Radicals. It's the same one from that.
Oh, I thought it was slightly different. Maybe you're right. But yeah, it's not a.
Oh, it
One
might be
of the
slightly.
many things. One of the many things they always like to reel off. Well, fuck school.
Hmm. In conclusion, I mean, this project is a real, I guess, a product of its time when it came out, and the group
Definitely.
came out with. It wouldn't have had the success it saw then now, and I still think it's not the most successful of all of them. Like everyone knows Bastard, but not many people I'd say would have listened to Earl.
And more
Uh,
people would know Nostalgia Ultra as well. From Frank
yeah,
Ocean. And
definitely.
probably the Mellow Hype mixtapes were a bit bigger than this as well, I think.
It's um, it's a little more esoteric, but it's great, and it's a great trip down. If you want a nostalgia trip back to a few years ago, or like 7 to 8 years ago, then I highly recommend it, and it shows you how far Earl has progressed. This is it's an immature project, but it shows it has potential. That's the key point, and it it's very it's very amateurish and childish, which isn't the same for Doris and I don't like shit. Are there any closing thoughts you have on Earl, Tom?
I mean, I think you covered it all already, really. Quite amateurish, but fun at the same time.
Yeah, Okay,
Well worth a listen.
definitely, and it's short. It's a very short project. It's not going to take up that much of your time in it. I'd suggest. I think if you're going to listen to all of them, I mean, they're all good to listen to, but like, listen to Earl and then let's listen to his new stuff because then you'll be able to see like it's gonna be a night and day shift, I reckon. Um, but that is speculative.
Especially from Earl Doris, I think.
Yeah, I think Doris is a. I really like the fact that you can really see how he develops. Doris is in between Earl and I don't like shit. It's a it's a more mature, bit more moody project. And like Earl's began to find his sound, and you can hear that on this with this really moody opener, which sounds like it's from like some kind of like cyberpunk movie. I
The only
think it
thing that
sounds.
was weird about it though was that the first verse on this album wasn't him. It was some guy I've
Yeah.
never heard of, Skilla Flair.
Mm.
And I've never heard of him. I've not before or since. I can't even find any projects of his when I've looked. So I have no idea where Earl dug him out from. But I mean, he delivers a decent verse, but it's quite slow, quite somber. But I like the beat. And then Earl comes in for a short verse, and then it kicks
Mm.
out.
And I mean, Earl's first project didn't even begin with him. It began with Tyler.
That's true. Slagging him off.
Yeah, call him ugly. Don't call a boy Earl ugly. Um,
And then we got 20 Wave Caps with a great Domogenesis feature. I think they both ride this really well.
mm. I think it's the instrumental is the highlight for me. It's that sort of meandering, uh, like kind of futuristic thing going on there. It's moody. It's a lot moodier than Earl, and you can tell that from the first track. It's
Yeah, I wouldn't say this album's all moody though. You've got tracks like Burgundy, which is a
no, yeah, yeah.
Neptune's beat, and it's a much more upbeat. But then you've also got tracks like this one and Hive and Guild
That's
and
why I say
Horse.
it's an in between point because you have those sorts of tracks which have those livelier beats, whereas in I don't like shit you just do not have those really.
So what are
It,
the highlights for you? Are there any tracks you don't like?
um, I wouldn't really say so. I've listened to this album twice today, and both times it wasn't boring. I really do like Doris. It's one you can just put on and listen to every now and then. Like, and
Do you know how he
all of
came
them.
up with the name?
No, I don't know.
He just said he liked the name Doris, so that's what he called it.
Ay, ay.
I mean,
Sorry, Tom.
so I don't really know how to respond to that. He just liked the name.
Yeah, it's unpretentious, which is him. He's really not a pretentious guy. He's one of the more likable guys in it.
It's probably
Anyway,
only 543 that I don't really like.
hmm. I think okay, so Burgundy has this really like punchy beat, and one thing I thought was interesting was there's like some raps about self doubt in there, which are further developed in further projects. And then there's this like one bar about cynical music industry. Like this manager saying, "Oh, I need bars," and then
What,
he
it's Vince
keeps
Staples?
was it?
Yeah.
Ah, like yeah, I thought that was Is it about cynicism or is it? Wait, yeah,
Self doubt, really.
yeah,
But he kicks it off with my grandma's passing, but I'm too busy
mm,
trying to get this fucking album cracking.
yeah,
Which is a bit sad.
yeah. And then there's a Sunday, which has it has it has a Frank Ocean feature.
Does
Well,
indeed.
you actually hear Frank rapping, which is I mean, at least on you don't really get that often.
No, it was a bit. I still can't really work out what the song's about, even though I've heard it so many times. Seems to be
Yeah.
about a relationship on the rocks, but it's just sort of rapping, really, isn't it?
Mm. I think Hive is more of a talking. It
An absolute bang.
it's just pretty like ominous, monotonous track. I mean, I kind of like it and don't like it at the same time. I don't love listening to it, but when I listen to it, I like it.
Oh, I do. I love the hook. Him and Casey Veggies going back and forth. He is two great verses, and then Vince's marathon verse that ends the track off.
Mm.
It's all great, in my opinion. And there's a reason it was the single.
Yeah, it's I'll just. I mean, yeah, he sounds like he has this like trademark monotone when he sort of raps sometimes, and that's like it's really present here.
And it's
It's
all about his hometown, really, isn't it?
is it?
Of course. King from a city that's recession here, and
Mm.
breaking news that's less important when the Lakers lose. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's I feel it does. It sounds more similar to something from Earl, the mixtape. Uh, yeah, it's one of the better songs on here. It's just I'm not the biggest fan of how it starts. Like it's not as lively as I'd want it to be. But then I'm pretty sure it's followed up by Chum, which is a. I mean, Chum is really big. It's a and it's referenced later on in this very album on Whoa. Um, I'm pretty sure. And wasn't Chum one of the singles as well?
I think so.
Yeah, it's just it's it's like more of a ballady song. I mean, it's not, but like
It's
it's
introspective.
yeah, Farmer. It's very introspective, and that's what I like about Earl. He's always introspective. This is like one of the first really introspective songs we get. It's lonely. It has a great beat and an instrumental, and it's I mean Elders really does it justice. Pardon me. Um, yeah, it's about I guess he references missing his father, and then I guess lacking a role model to begin with.
Before he met Tyler.
Yeah, he was like a big brother to him. Uh, it's interesting. Like of two people to me, it'd be two musical geniuses. Ugh, very funny. And yeah, Chum is I guess it foreshadows like the sort of tone to come on his next project and sort of what he's known for. Like when you think about, you think of this sort of introspective rapping, not just some uh party track. You're saying that you listen to and think about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'd like to talk about. Um, I'm gonna skip over Sasquatch if that's all right.
I mean, it just sounds a bit like a wolf leftover, doesn't it? That's one.
Yeah, that's what that's
Although I
exactly what
do
I
like
have
it.
written. it sounds like one of the songs from Wolf, but like from the bad part of Wolf, like the trash wang sort of part of Wolf.
No, I wouldn't say that. It was one of the
Oh, okay.
best, but it's definitely made in the same mind
Yeah.
space because Tyler produced it by himself. So yeah, it does sound like it was made in the same base,
Hmm.
even with the lyrical concept. Yeah, you can skip if you want.
Um. So the Centurion has this is like and 523. I'm a big fan of those two. They're both sort of like haunting, especially 523. It's 523, isn't it? It's like an interlude. It's really short, but it's so the instrumental. It gave me chills like, and not the good ones. It made me very uncomfortable. It was like walking. It comes up images of walking through somewhere you're not meant to be, and
No, I don't really
Centurion.
like 523.
I I thought it contributed to the overall idea of the album, or sort of vision, with it being kind of introspective, dark, and yeah, I thought although I must admit, like it's a bit strange to just have it there and have nothing about it, and then it's followed up by Uncle Al, which is a bit more lively. And
Yeah, Centaurian as hard as nails with Staples verse at the beginning.
sorry,
It has as hard as nails Vince Staples verse at the beginning before the beat switches.
mm.
Um,
Vince Staples is really present in these projects. That's
we've got
something.
3 features on this project.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not complaining. I really like him. It's just I really noticed it. I noticed it now. Like, I didn't know who was who when I listened to it the first time. I mean, I knew who
Mm-hmm.
else, but like, I didn't know who many of the features were. Um, and then comes Guild.
Guild.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Matt
Listening to
Miller's verse is hilarious. The only thing I don't really like about it is the vocal effect. It made me not like it that much at first.
hmm.
Then I sort of listened to the flows and the bars, and I was like, "This is undeniably good song." He comes up with some crazy shit. I hope the bass god hears my prayers.
Hmm.
I mean, don't we all? Even Schindler keeps a list,
It
and something
it's
about
it's one of the sort of darker instrumentals as well. It reminds me of Grief a lot when I listen to it
hmm,
personally. Um, and I think there was a lyric about I hope the bass god hears my prayers.
what I just said.
Oh right, sorry, let me
Yeah,
connect.
yeah, but I can why this was on an Earl album because I can't imagine it ever being on any Matt Miller album. The track this dark, this dingy, this claustrophobic.
Hmm.
Although they did make a song with similar vocals on watching movies with the sound off.
Hmm.
Yeah, Larry Fisherman produced this one, which is Matt Miller's producer alias. And so is this a highlight for you? It definitely is for me.
Yeah. And Molasses, pretty cool. It has this pretty funny hook in there. I'll fuck the freckles off your face, bitch.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't really like Molasses all that much actually.
Yeah, it's not a real highlight for me. I mean, that like that hook is pretty absurd. I think it's pretty entertaining in that respect, but there's not really much more for this song. That does it for me. But then it's followed up by Whoa, which I used to bump on repeat.
That's not even the first Earl song I heard. Whoa.
It was one of the first Earl songs that I really listened to.
But
And
the great video you should all watch.
yeah. And also it's so catchy, which it can't really be said for some of his other songs. A lot of his other songs, I'd say, they're not like ones you could play at a party. As I guess you sort of could this one because it has that it follows that standard song structure with a more traditional one rather than being more abstract as a lot of his other work tends to be, I'd say. Although not as abstract as like Death Grips and Our Boy Peggy.
Anyway.
It's a great track nonetheless, though. It's very catchy and it's very enjoyable. If you're gonna listen to one of the tracks on this song, I mean on this album, I'd recommend you listen to Whoa if you want to try and get into Earl Sweatshirt. I mean you have Tyler who brings a bit of liveliness to it as well, and it's a good gateway song, I'd say. Um, it's followed up by Horse, which has this really interesting Western style instrumental to it, which I felt was a bit of a diversion from the rest of the beats, but I liked it a lot. And
Yeah, Bad Not Good producing that one.
really,
Yeah.
oh bloody hell, yeah, it's great.
She
And
featured on it, all the different members. And
that's
yeah, and it was named after the fact that his voice was feeling a bit hoarse when he recorded it. That's why they called it. That's why the track was titled.
and yeah, so I think
introspection on this track.
it's very well placed on the album. Very well placed, being the penultimate song, because it has that sort of closing feel to it, whilst not being the closer. I think it's one of the better songs on here too, and it really builds to an effective crescendo towards the end, which I thought it's different to uh, it's different to the other songs on the album. It's in that respect, and I was a big fan of that. I'd like to hear some more tracks like that from Earl, and yeah, Horse. I overlooked it the first time I listened to it, and I must say I feel awful for having done so.
Yeah, because it does build up, and then sort of the instrumental breaks down to a bit of freestyling,
Hmm.
like you say. So it would have been an effective closer, but the actual closer is Night.
Yeah.
Another Domino Genesis feature. This one, I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with this song.
Okay, go on.
Well, I do like the verses as they both start, but I always get caught by the fact that they fade out at the end. And it sounds so robotic, and I don't really like that much.
Yeah.
And I don't think the beat's that great either.
No, I think Horse is far better instrumentally, and but there's some more references to Al having grown up without a father, or at least grown up for a portion of his childhood without a father, and this to the fathers who didn't raise us. Um, it's it feels like an in between song between I don't know. It's a good in between one from Earl to I don't like shit. It's but I must admit I agree with you in that I think it perhaps shouldn't have been a closer.
I think Horse would have been a much better closer.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Doris is a very
track,
good project.
but it is a bit all over the place.
Yeah.
If our
Which
track by track hasn't revealed that already. You got a western song, and you got like some poppier sounding ones. You got some really dingy, dark sounding ones. It
yeah,
sort of made us all wonder where he go with his next album. Was he going to go happier? Was he going to go darker? We're thinking, oh, we don't really know. And he just turned into the cave with a lantern. He just walked right into the darkness and
which
released. I don't like
it
shit. I don't go outside.
yeah. And I bought this album
I must have when I
without knowing.
first heard this album when it first came, because I was more into pirating in those days. That's how I got my music. So I thought that it was so lo-fi and so other people like still like yeah to be, which blew my mind because
Yeah, this really
it
wasn't.
initially sounded so I don't know
It,
unprofessional, unfinished. The production at least.
it wasn't what I was expecting from him. I was expecting something a bit more happy, and it's it's sort of Huey as an opener is really interesting in that respect because Huey has this it has this really catchy light-hearted Tyler Creator sort of keyboard. It's really short and really sweet, and it's it's just I mean, it's a really good opening. It's one of my favorite songs from Earl, and it's still like in the lyrics he references his grandma and he has this great flow, and it's sort of like reeling you in to then take you down this dark route he's gonna
Yeah,
take.
it's like the happy track, and then the
Yeah,
rest of it's like, oh, come in here, it's gonna be great, and then you like get beaten up.
he's like, no, now listen to me be introspective, which is great in its own right. It does a bit of a whoop de whoop on you there.
Yeah, because it goes straight into Mantra, which is essentially a breakup song about how he cheated on his girlfriend, and that's why they're not together anymore. And she does his head in, so he's glad that it's over.
Oh, sad.
But
It's
whatever.
has this yeah, the instrumental has this pardon me,
Bless you.
notably darker sound though, and uh I'm pretty sure the same as for Fawcett has this off future instrumental, but it's just sad, sadder. Um, but then I noticed there is a beat switch. Fawcett, I'm pretty sure, to this more sort of uh, which I preferred. I preferred the beat switch. It gave it a bit more depth.
Yeah, there
And
were a few random beat switch outros on this album.
yeah, and it's there was a really cool line there. It's lost all the leaves fell, and I raked a profit. Damn. And there was
Oh yeah.
and then I think one of the very telling lyrics as to the direction of this album and the ethos behind it is the hook on this song is I hope my phone breaks, let it ring. It's because he doesn't know how to call home, and it's yeah, it's I don't think you get this sort of introspection from any at least yeah any other rapper. I think it's the Earl Sweatshirt thing. Like he takes us in this album into the darkest places.
Yeah, also rapping on this track that he hasn't stepped up in his mama place for a minute.
Mm. It's it's really the first. It's setting the tone for the rest of the album.
But for me, the next two tracks is where it gets the dingiest.
Yeah,
Grief, which was the one where I really thought that I got like an unmixed version of the album. Because this beat is so glitchy and so lo-fi and so abstract.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I still think even after Nowhere to Go, this is the weirdest beat he's ever rapped on.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's when I first listened to this album, and when I listened to it a bunch of times, like I really wasn't a big fan of this song. And then I think I listened to it last year, and then I heard your thoughts on it. And listening to like today, I really, really enjoyed it. It has this it sounds like you're listening to it from underwater or from but this beat is echoing and the organs that it envelops you. You really, it's like warm and empty, or that's what I imagine. Just if you watch the music video, I think it makes more sense. Like that sort of a black world sort of enveloping you. That's what it feels like, and it's and that's the lyrics allude to it too with uh I'm stranded in a mob. Like I was, but then I'm not sure where he's going with some of the other lyrics where it's almost like he's arguing with someone, trying to justify his position in the rap game with like I was making waves, he was surfing in them, and then
I love the way he kicks
again,
the verse off with "I don't act hard, I'm a hard act to follow."
yeah, I mean,
I still sort of chuckle at that line whenever I hear him say it. It's so
yeah,
clever. Similar to the
yeah,
Wave one as well.
it's he could be saying it to himself, like to further that sort of self doubt theme that was in the previous album and the introspection in this. And then one thing I noticed was when he references getting high, like for a brief bit of time, there's no drums, and it's very peaceful. It's but then the whole song sounds a bit guilty and grief stricken. It's a very interesting track, and as you said, one like probably the most abstract beat he's ever rapped over. And
Which reminds me actually now that you say that, we forgot to mention something between Earl and Doris when he was sent to Samoa by his mother
mm,
for finding about his drug habits. Obviously, while his that's why his relationship with his mother's quite fractured, and
yeah,
perhaps why he feels this way about everyone. That he doesn't like shit and he doesn't go outside because people seem to piss him off, and this is why. And this is sort of detailed on a lot lyrically in a lot of the songs, like Mantra and Grief.
it's yeah,
And
he's
then the
had some
second
interesting.
verse, oh sorry,
Yeah, no, go on, go on.
well the second verse is like a spoken word almost. It's so much slower. It's not rap at all,
Hmm.
and it's just a very paranoid little piece.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption. It's the whole thing. It's almost there's this oppressive feeling that just envelops you when you listen to this song. It's but at the same time, I found it comforting how thick this instrumental is and how it just covers you. It's I'm not sure, mixed feelings, as I said. It's definitely one of his most interesting songs, though.
Then we go into Off Top, which is lyrically my favourite, probably. It's just one long verse with so many funny lines that I don't think I should quote, but give it a listen, definitely.
And I don't I liked Off Top, but I was a bigger fan of some of the further tracks on this. Um, I felt Grown Ups 2 was this layered sort of dark track, but I was a big fan of AM Radio. Um, it's this it's like it's an Odd Future thing or a Tyler the Creator thing. Like in every single album, or like in yeah, I think it was every single album he did up to or it might be all of them. And he has this thing for those like 2-part tracks, and the internet do it too, and I guess it's done here, where AM is this um sort of is the main track, and then it's followed by Radio, which is this sort of uppy instrumental. Pardon me. It's sort of like Party Isn't Over from Wolf. Um, yeah, it's
Well, that was a three-part song, wasn't it?
is it?
Yeah, but this one was only two. As you were saying, it's kicked off by Wiki from Rat King with a sort of interesting verses of funny lines, and there's lots of like kid cheering samples that keep randomly coming in the background. The woohoo! It's just yeah, it's just definitely a bit of a tempo change to all the dingy rap she's had up to now, including Grown Up.
Yeah. And then there's a Inside, which is this. I thought it had a bit of a jazzy instrumental, although it's not like nice jazzy. It does feel a bit jazzy though, I'd say, but it is still fundamentally like a deep, dark beat in this deep dark album.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I remember there being some great rhymes in it. And but then there's DNA, which is another big track on this album.
This is my least favorite song.
Really?
Purely for the Nakil feature, if nothing else. It
I
just
thought
annoys
it
me. His voice
it
is so high. There's like
mm,
nothing. I think Earl does some funny lines in it.
it's the
But
instrumentals on this whole album that do it for me. It's this one especially. If you thought like Grief is that sort of enveloping, uh, thick, uh, deep, dark beat. DNA is dismal, I'd say, and it has this yeah. The lyrics are introspective as ever. It references alcoholism to begin with, I'm pretty sure. Um, and it's uh, I thought it was one of the best songs on the album. I
you're
remember,
allowed to.
yeah, it's DNA and Grief. I thought they were very similar. Like the creative vision behind them. I like them both. I mean, I do prefer Grief though, but I did enjoy DNA at the time.
I'm
Although,
much more of a fan of Wolf, the closer.
yeah,
Which
and
has,
it has
as you were saying, the
Vince
obligatory Vince Staples
Staples
feature.
speech. And it's great. It is a great one.
Soon as
It's
I catch the vibe, tell him to fetch the hearse, doggy. I'm heartless, and I'm lifting
there's
that door and shut. I
there's
could
another
probably rap it word for word, but I won't.
there's another line about pistols. Yeah, pistols rip his body apart. Now he's afraid of dark alleyways. Something like that.
You better listen when the pastor say.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like Jehovah ain't called back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and then Earl's Earl's like pretty relentless in this as well, and it has this very abrupt end. This track.
Oh, I thought that was kind of fitting for this album because you never
Sorry?
knew where it was going to go. And then
No,
I
yeah,
said it was quite fitting that it ended with
yeah. I agree. I
just
agree.
abrupt out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it just leaves you with this haunting feeling. This album is haunting. it is better production, better depth.
More.
It
I don't know if it's better.
Oh, in my opinion, I think it is. It's a definitive step away from that older Odd Future sound towards this newer, more uniquely Earl Sweatshirt sound. And I'm pretty sure it met critical acclaim when it came out, this album as well. It's well deserved, I say.
And it's definitely a fan favourite, but you've got to worry about its well-being. That's all I'd say, really.
It's I recommend listening to it. It's grown on me. It's taken like 3 years to grow, but it has finally grown on me. And I'm a fan of this album. It's not one that you can just put on. You have to be in the mood for it. But if you're in the mood for it, and that's not like a mood where you're just sad. It's worth appreciating, definitely.
I think even just on a rainy day when you can't go outside, this is a good one.
Yeah. Or even on a sunny day when you just don't want to go outside. It's great. It is really great. And I'm really looking forward to what he does next.
Some rap song out tomorrow.
Yeah. And through these 3 albums, you see him develop from this kid who's rapping about eating applesauce in the sky, and then scat porn into um, this unique voice in rap, who's introspective with these dark beats, but they're mature. They're not like gratuitous or like childish. It's art, and it's great. And I'm really looking forward to what he does next.
Because no one's making music like this. No one's rapping over beats like. There will never be another. I don't like shit. I don't go outside.
No,
I don't think it's possible. It's just a mixture
but
of man in a
I
dark
hope some
place.
rap song continues his introspection, and just I hope he remains as humble as he has been so far, which he should do. I mean, the album's called Some Rap Songs, for God's sake, and it has the album cover is just like
Is it a Snapchat filter or is it just blurry? I can't really.
it's blurry. I reckon he literally was you know when like you get your phone out and it accidentally takes a photo. That's probably what happened.
Oh, I'm going to use this. Call it Some Rap
Yeah.
Songs. But if you listen to his radio show, which actually he didn't do one this month or last month, or this month, he hasn't done one the last 2 months. So he usually does one a month.
Been hard at work.
Radio. Yeah, clearly. But he just seems to be in a more fun, positive headspace than he was. Although then his father passed away, unfortunately, a couple months back. But yeah, it's just going to be an interesting thing to see where this album goes. We've had the 2 singles, which we've reviewed on here already.
Which are both very good.
And yeah, very similar in the MF Doom style of sort of not really any hooks, just a verse on an interesting instrumental, and then dips after 2 minutes, which is what Earl's always done.
And it's piqued my interest.
And seeing how long I fully expect the same again. It's like maybe I think it's 30 minutes, 13 songs.
Good length.
But yeah, we'll see how. We thought there wasn't really much coming out this week, as it was Thanksgiving last week, so there wasn't a lot of projects that came out. Even Dummy Boy didn't come out until later this week. So we thought we'd just hit you with a little Earl Sweatshirt review. Oh yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
In anticipation of some rap songs.
And I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I've been meaning to listen to him more, and I have done it, and I feel better having done it. I appreciate him more as an artist. And I hope that you, dear listeners, take our advice and listen to his discography so that you too may have your opinions of him uh, changed in some cases, reinforced in others. But we hope that you'll be able to see him for the artist he is, and we'll share our high opinions of him
And feel free to let us know your favourite Earl projects in the comments.
in the comments. Yeah, let's start getting some comments in there. Okay, we're gonna leave you now,
Thanks to Tom for being with me,
and
and
thank
thanks to
you.
the Weatherspoons News for sponsoring another episode.
I'm pretty sure we're sponsored by a different sponsor today.
The Weatherspoons News today.
Ah, still the way. Alright, my bad. Fake.
Loyal.
False flag. False flag in that. Alright. Adios.
Bye bye.